Okay, this is Geometry 4A. I know we haven't had a video in a while, so you guys are really missing videos. And what we're going to be doing in this unit is logic. So it's going to seem a little less mathematical, more rational thinking. So what we're going to start off with 4A is just some basic terminology and some basic symbols. Essentially, the best way for you to do this is just to memorize what the symbols mean. So we'll start off, we have variables. Most of the time we're going to use P, Q, or R, and these are going to be what we call statements. Okay? So essentially what a statement is just a statement. So an example of a statement might be, I'm sorry, that was somebody in the background talking to me. So an example might be, it is raining. Just a very simple statement. Nothing deep about it, just it is raining. Another example, I am using an umbrella. Okay? So essentially what happens is, it's just a statement that we can say that is true or false. It's not ambiguous at all. So we try to steer clear of things like the Cowboys, or the Dallas Cowboys, are the best team in the NFL. So this, for a lot of us, is a statement of opinion. It's who we like the most. We think they're the best. We maybe can cite some stats, but it is debatable. Whether or not something is raining, it's not really debatable. If I'm using an umbrella, I'm using an umbrella, or I'm not using an umbrella. So a statement has to be very clear, and it cannot be what we say ambiguous. So it has to have a very, very clear truth value. So either something is explicitly and totally true, or explicitly and totally false. So this is a bad example. All right, so we have our basic statements. Again, we'll say it is raining, I am using an umbrella. So we'll talk about the opposite of these statements. So we have these statements that we're going to say are true or false. So we're going to say the opposite of them. The way that we do that is by what we call negation. So the symbol we're going to use for negation is the tilde, or the sideways wave. So this just means negation, negative, opposite. So if I have a statement, P, that is, again, it is raining, and I can spell raining, I promise. The negation of that would be not P, and that would just mean it is not raining. Okay? Very basic again. So my other example I had was, if I say my statement Q is, I am using an umbrella, the negation of that, not Q, I am not using an umbrella. So again, we have a statement and we negate it. We make it the opposite. Most often, we can tell by the not in there. So let's talk a little bit more about combining these statements, or let's talk initially about combining these statements. So again, let's say I have my two statements, P, which is going to be, it is raining, And Q, I am using an umbrella. All right. So we have ways to combine these phrases, and they're called conditional phrases. They're conditional, meaning that there is some condition placed on them. And so our basic conditions are as follows. The way this works, I just need you to copy them down, put them in your notes, have them there to refer back to, because you are going to be required to memorize them for the Unit 4 test. So the first one is called conjunction. Conjunction, if you think about a junction, two things coming together, just means the word and. And it is this symbol, a little caret. Okay? Disjunction or union, as we can say, means or, and we describe it with a V or upside down caret. The next is if then. And literally that just means if then, so if something, then something else. And the symbol for that is that arrow, okay? The last one we have is if and only if. And this is described by a double arrow, okay? Two arrows. The last one we have is another statement of therefore. So if something is true, therefore we can conclude blah, 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 blah. And the symbol that we use for that are the three triangle dots. Yes, like the Illuminati, the three triangle dots mean therefore. So let's look at some examples of if then, if and only if, therefore, conjunction, and disjunction. I'll also be putting a table on my website to kind of show some examples of these. So the first, let's do a conjunction. So let's have P be a statement. I like math, which I do. Q can be a statement. I like social studies, which I do. So an example of a conjunction would me be saying P and Q. So if I wrote this in symbols, I'd write P and Q, meaning I like math and I like social studies. So I like both, okay? I like them both. If you were to ask me, do I like math? I would say yes. If you were to ask me if I like social studies, I would say yes. I like them both. Okay? So when we talk about a conjunction, we're saying that both of these things have to be true. Okay? Not just one of them, but both of them are true. When we have another one, disjunction. Wow, I cannot spell today. It's because you guys didn't come and work with me. Disjunction. So the way we'd write that is P or Q. Okay? So I like math or I like social studies. So it's one or the other, okay? And it's different, and this is important. The difference between conjunction and this disjunction, is that when I am talking here in the conjunction, both of these things have to be true in order to have a true statement. So in order for me to say, yeah, that's a true statement, I like math, I have to say I like both of them. With disjunction, only one of these things has to be true. So you can say whether or not this is a true statement in and of itself, as long as one of these are true. Okay, and this sounds a little bit weird, but let me show you another example of disjunction. So I'll have one statement saying, I like vanilla ice cream. Another R, I like chocolate ice cream. So if we say P or R, what we're literally saying is I like vanilla or I like chocolate. I don't like them both. I like one or the other. Okay? So I either like vanilla or I like chocolate. So let me not use that symbol. And that's the big deal. We can pick one of them. Okay? So if we use, so our next one is if then. So if something, then something else. So let's go back to my original examples of it is raining. And Q, or sorry, I am using an umbrella. So what we're going to say with that then is if P, then Q. So if P, then Q. And the way that looks with symbols is this. Sorry about that. So if, and then, okay? So we have our statements translated. Let's take a look at if and only if. So if and only if is essentially essentially us saying that something can only be true if something else is true. So if we take my other original statements, it is raining. I am using an umbrella. Basically what I'll do is I'll say Q, P. I can do them either way. So what I'm saying is I am using an umbrella if and only if it is raining. Okay? So there we go. Those are our basic symbols, our basic terms that we're going to be using. We'll get into some additional examples maybe tomorrow, depending on how things go in class. Be sure to check out the next video. and you'll be able to see some more of these conditions.